Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone, especially to our instructor Manfar. So before I start to my discussion, allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Sarah Mel L. Dampas from BEd 3B. So let us start to our new discussion. Now we are going to discuss the Rizal educational background. So, Doña Teodora was the first teacher of Rizal who have taught him how to read and pray and also encouraged him to write a poem. At the age of 3, Rizal learned the alphabet from his mother. At the age of 5, while learning to read and write, Rizal already showed inclination to be an artist. He studied his family and relatives by his pencil drawing and sketches and by his molding of clay. At the age of 8, Rizal wrote a Tagalog poem called Sa Aking Mga Kabata, the theme of which revolves on the love of one's language. Rizal went to Binyan on June 1869. He was accompanied by his older brother Preciano and taught by Maestro Justiano. In academic studies, Rizal beat an Binyan boys. He surpassed them in Spanish, Latin, and other subjects. Private tutors. The first private tutors of Jose Rizal was Maestro Celestino, who was the first private tutor of Rizal. And the second one is Maestro Lucas, who was the second tutor of Rizal. While Leon Manroy was the former classmate of her brother, then they became a tutor of Rizal. He instructed Jose Rizal in Spanish and Latin. Educational background of Jose Rizal in Manila. Rizal entered Ateneo in 1872. He belonged to the class of Spaniards, Mestizos, and Filipinos. However, he was placed at the bottom of the class. By the end of the month, he became an emperor and received a prize, a religious pictures. Rizal graduated on March 23, 1877, attaining sobresaliente or excellent with 5 medals. He received the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Jose Rizal wrote his first poem, P. Primera Inspiración, My First Inspiration, which was he dedicated on his mother on her birthday. He always wrote, through education our motherland received light and the intimate alliance between religion and good education, which show the importance of religion in education. Nolomi Tangere. The idea of writing a novel grew on him, and later he decided to write a work hard for Nolomi Tangere. He never told anyone about it until it was finished, though some of his companions knew what he was doing. He wrote half of the novel in Madrid, a quarter of it in Paris, and it in Germany. Educational background of medical studies in University of Santo Tomas. He continued his education at UST and finished a year in philosophy and letters after deciding to shift to a medical course. Rizal was unhappy at this Dominican institution of higher learning because the Dominican professor was hassle him, and the Filipino students were racially discriminated against by the Spaniards. The methods of instruction was obsolete and repressive. After finishing his fourth year of his medical course, Jose Rizal decided to study in Spain. He could no longer endure rampant bigotry, discrimination, and the hostility in the University of Santo Tomas. Next is academic journey of Jose Rizal in Spain. Jose Rizal was departure to Spain was kept secret from Spanish authorities, friends, and even his parents, especially his mother, because she would not allow him to go, but he was secretly supported by his brother, which is Paciano. In order to avoid detection, he used the name Jose Mercado, name of his cousin in Calamba. Before his departure, he described farewell letters to his parents and his sweetheart, Leonor Rivera. On May 13, 1882, he boarded on Salvador bound for Singapore. He was the only Filipino passenger. The captain of the ship, Donato Lecha from Australia, Spain, befriended him. They landed in Singapore on May 9 and registered to Hotel de la Paz, spent a couple of days. Jose Rizal's studies completed in Spain. On November 3, 1882, he enrolled in Universal Central de Madrid, taking up 2 courses, medicine and philosophy and letters. Aside from those courses, he also studied painting and sculpture in Academy of Fine Arts of San Fernando. He took lessons in French, German, and English under the private instructors and practiced fencing and shooting in the Hollands. He was conferred the degree of licentiate in medicine by Universidad Central de Madrid on June 11, 1884. The next academic year, he studied and passed all subjects leading at the disguise of Doctor of Medicine. However, he did not submit the thesis required for graduation nor pay the corresponding fees. He was not awarded his Doctor of Diploma. Next, inducted as a member of Berlin Ethnological Society and Berlin Anthropological Society under the pathologist Rudolf Petzko. Jose Rizal also finished his studies in philosophy and letters with high grades. He was awarded the degree of licentiate in philosophy and letters by the Universidad Central de Madrid on June 19, 1885 with a rating of excellent. Jose Rizal was attack of his homesickness inspired him to write "You Ask Me for Verses." During his stay in Madrid, his vision is broadened to the point of awakening in him and understanding the human nature, sparking in him the realization that his people needed him. He joined the curricula Hispano Filipino, whose members were Filipino resident in Madrid and some Spanish-born student. He wrote El Amor Patrioso, wherein he expressed his love on his country. In la Solidaridad, he published the indolence of Filipinos to refute the Spanish criticism that the Filipino were indolent and lazy. He said the colonial policy of divesting the Filipinos of the fruits of their toil, the climate that was conducted to the slow tempo of progress, the lack of incentives. He worked harder, some caused why the Filipinos were seemingly indolent. Spain as realization. It was venue for realizing Rizal's dream. He finished his studies in Madrid and his And this to him was the realization of bigger part of his ambition. His vision broadened to the point of awakening in him, understanding the human natures back in him, realization that his people needed him. It must have been this sentiment that prompted him to pursue during the reorganizational meeting of the Cerco Hispano-Filipino to be one of his activities the publication of book to which all members would contribute the papers on various aspects of condition of Philippines life. The proposal of the book was unanimously approved, but afterward difficulty and objection were raised and a number of gentlemen stood off refused to discuss the matter any further in 1854. Rizal decided not to press this issue not any longer. Although the book was never written, the next year Pedro Paterno published his Ninay, a novel subtitled Costumbres Filipinas, Philippines Custom, thus partly fulfilling the original purpose of Rizal plan. Next is University of Paris or France. Jose Rizal was earned a second doctorate. Next is University of Heidelberg. At the age of 25 years old, Rizal completed in 1887 his high specialization under the renown of professional autobacker in Heidelberg. Left Heidelberg a poem, Alas Flores de Heidelberg, both an evocation and prayer for the welfare of his native land and an evocation of common values between East and West. Next, Rizal life in Europe. Jose Rizal lived in Europe for 10 years. He could converse in more than 10 different tongues, excellent at martial art, fancy sculpture, painting, teaching, anthropology, and journalism, among other things. During his European journey, he also began to write novels. Rizal finished his first book, Nolo Me Tangere, while living in Wilhelmsfield with the Reverend Karl Olmer.